Open up the meeting and bring the Shorewood Park Sanitary District monthly meeting for the month of June to order. We'll start with roll call. My name is Rich Stork and I am the chairperson.
Matt Anderson, board member.
Dean Fendel, treasurer.
Al Powers, roads.
Sue Means, board member.
Tina Heidelberger, clerk.
All right, very good. We're going to start off with the approval of the meeting minutes from May 7th. Did everybody get a chance to take a look at them?
Yep, I first motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor for approving the minutes from Tuesday, May 7th?
Aye.
Aye, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, wastewater update. Terry is not coming today. He texted me. Kind of gave you the update of what our status was this month and where he's at and what's going on. Probably not going to make it to the meeting with the storms coming. I'll try, but just in case, here's our flow for the week. Our low flow this last month was 7,840 gallons. Just for you, Doug, we're allowed per our permit up to 15,000 gallons a day. Okay, so the low was 7,840 on 5/8. The high on 5/24 was towards the end of the month. I think that's, we'll probably go back and look at rain and stuff. At 5/25 was actually up to 14,920 below our 15,000. Total for the month was 31,030. Yeah. What the heck is it? Oh, it's 313,000 gallons. Average for the month was 10,096. So well within our current permit boundaries. That's basically what I have for the update on for the wastewater update. Move right into the chairman update. A couple things going on this month. One of the things that kind of popped up from last month was one of our residents had mentioned we still have issues with the park equipment. A lot of broken pieces, both the upper and the lower. I asked him to basically close it off, and he did put caution tape on it. I don't know about the lower one right now, if that's cautioned off.
Yeah.
But the upper one was cautioned off, and it looks like somebody took all that off. But
That was me, Rich. I put that slide back together.
did you put the slide back together? Okay. So I guess the purpose I'm bringing up is they do need attention and they do need some maintenance. It sounds like Joey spent some time and took care of the upper part one, but the lower one is still.
And I don't know what the resident was really, I didn't see what he was talking about. Slide is fine down there. It sounded like somebody who would up in the canopy part.
Oh, on the lower?
On the lower, I think.
Yeah, that was Kirk Thompson came and stopped by, I was going to mention to you.
Okay.
And he said he would just put a, I don't know, was it a 2x4 or whatever up there?
Apparently it's starting to crack and it's starting to move a little bit. So I thought there was some broken pieces. One of the slides was busted up. Is that?
The slide came apart. It looks like it wasn't put together correctly.
Oh, so you were able to repair it?
Yeah.
Oh.
We were missing one pole across the bottom.
Okay.
So we can see if we can order that.
Well, we can order it. I have the contact. We ran on the phone and ordered up the pieces. If somebody wants to take the time to go ahead and do that, we'll pay for that. But I think before we do order any other pieces, we should just, somebody should take the time to go down there and make sure both are operable. That park equipment is going to need more and more maintenance every year. It's just what's going to have to happen. And I don't know if we create some sort of a calendar at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year. Probably should be at the beginning of the year after the winter, but I don't know how long it's going to last. it's gonna need maintenance every year. And we do have some money in the funds for it, so.
Not only maintenance, to evaluate the condition of it, but I think maybe there needs to be some signage put up.
Additional signage?
A comment I had heard was that there were larger kids up there banging and jumping, and, do we want a age, size restriction, or, I mean,
I don't think a sign's gonna stop.
no, but,
I'll go back and stop.
no, it wasn't.
I think I've thought about it too, and I think it's really hard. It's like a public park. You can't really prevent people. You hope that the people within the park respect what that is there, and when their kids are up there, they're treating it as such. And we're just gonna have to maintain it. We could, like you said, we could put more signs up there. There is some signage up there, but I don't think we can limit to say.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen adults swing in. I've seen, eventually it's gonna break, but we're not gonna be able to fix it. We're gonna have a bigger decision. So I think at this point in time, and you guys, I'm just giving my opinion.
Or maybe a reminder in the minutes, or whatever that it is for children.
Yeah, I think that could go into our quarterly letter that we're probably gonna talk about here.
Yep.
Letter, I don't know, what do we call that, the quarterly letter?
Yep,
Okay.
or newsletter.
I think that's something that we could probably add into there. But Joe, I appreciate you taking the time and your time to put on there and fix it. Doug,
I'll
yes?
go look at the one on lower and
Okay.
see what, I'll just kind of go over and see what kind of needs to be done, make sure it's safe.
All right, all the parts for it are available. We replaced it, and they're very inexpensive. So if it looks like we need a slide or any of the plastic parts, or they're really easy to get. But I think what was happening is you can kind of see some of the major components in the structure are starting to crack, so it was starting to wobble.
Yeah, I'll look at that and see what I can.
We don't add a couple more screws or some reinforcement. And with your skills, that would be greatly appreciated.
The upper one's really sturdy.
Is it?
It does need some of there were short screws that were put in there to begin with. I mean, it needs some attention.
Are you okay with looking at the upper one too, and just kind of taking a look at it?
Yeah.
All right, why don't you put in the notes that Doug Lohmeyer, an experienced Finnish carpenter, is going to put his skills to work for the park and take a look at those. That'd be great. I do appreciate that. And again, Joe, thanks for your time. The next thing that I guess I'm going to talk about, what else happened this month? Oh, we're still back to working with Chris on getting into the portal to secure the federal grant money for the expansion. The biggest hang-up has still been the utility bill. Okay, so the first thing that we dealt with, and I'm just going to recap, is the address. We couldn't use a PO box, so we established an address for the pump house. We put that mailbox in, so we thought that would take care of it. That was the first month, because there's always a month delay to get the utility bill people caught up. So we submitted that utility bill with the update of the address. Well, on the utility bill, it just said Shorewood Park Sanitary. Didn't match what we are. It should be Shorewood Park Sanitary District. So we got a hold of East Central again, because that's our only utility bill. They corrected that. So we thought for sure that this was going to go through this last time. We sent it off, and it got kicked back out again because the bill that is established for the pump house, it didn't say Shorewood Park Sanitary District Pump House. There's actually a description of that bill. It said Chisago County Utility Building. Now this is stuff that we would have never picked up on the bill at all, right? Because it was never a problem. So I had to get a hold of the utility company again and make sure they updated the 3 bills that we have with the proper description. So I've done that for all 3 utility bills. We have a utility bill that runs the electricity at the pump house, and that actually matches the address of the pump house and the description of the Shorewood Park Sanitary District pump house. The other bill is for security lighting throughout the park, upper, lower, and all the streets. And they just give an address off of I think it's Lakewood Circle or Lakeside Circle down there for you guys, for one of the lights, but it does take care of all 12 of the lights that we have in the park. I didn't think that we needed to change the address there or the description there, but I did change the description of the lift station. It really didn't have a description down there, and it does match to an address, which is, I think, the Bush's address down there. So the address and the description does say lift station, so that should hopefully be cleaned up. Once we get that utility bill, and Tina let me know that gets, and then I'll get ahold of Chris, and we'll take another swing at grant stuff. That was the second issue that I kind of dealt with over the week or over the month. The third issue was, and I think you guys seen all the emails flying back and forth about it, was the sign up by the monument sign that we put up a couple years ago was removed. Now, if you guys recall, we did get a letter from the property owner there, the Wood Trust property, or the big property there, saying that they thought that sign was on their property, and if it doesn't get removed in 30 days.
They didn't really specify which sign.
They did. I was wrong, right. So basically the email said there's a sign, they're going to remove it if it isn't removed.
And you tried to clarify that.
Right. I responded with an email to them and said, Eric, you guys read it. I appreciate us, we thought it was probably just the typical advertising signs that were getting popped in up there. I try to keep that as clean as I can by pulling them because they're supposed to ask for permission to put advertising signs up. And I asked him for clarification, and he didn't clarify with us. So over the month, all of a sudden the sign disappears. So we're making an assumption that it was removed by the property owners of the Woods Trust property up there. I did leave a phone call with him and asked him if he did, take the sign, please return it with, but no response. So the sign is missing. We've made the assumption that it was removed by that property owner. Now, based on what we think is there is a pin put up there because we paid for that survey pin to be put up there when we surveyed our 2-acre lot. And if you do the research on that with the tax property line, it was right next to the easement, and it does not look like it was on his property.
It was directly within inches of the public utility for the cable and the electricity.
So at this point, I guess I'm looking for suggestions. I think, Tina, we filed a police report of a missing sign. We provided the information on the email.
It was stolen property, yep.
A stolen property.
Yep, and so I uploaded the survey, I uploaded the receipt from the bill because it is over $500, and just reported it as stolen for right now, so until we can find out otherwise.
Okay.
It's at least filed with the county, so.
Okay.
So can we locate that other pin in the corner? And then that would put it to bed.
So what is your suggestion? I mean, we have the one pin.
There's one pin by the cement sign, but if you go to the pin to the southeast, southwest, it's in the road there. That would give us that line from there in there. It would completely separate your property from that whole property.
Okay, I guess. What?
Are you, do you want to show them what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, they can see it there.
Okay, well, I'll pass it.
Pass this down. Okay, so the top pin is marked.
Yeah.
All right, and if we get the pin mark for here, we can just basically draw the line and then improve that one way or the other.
Yeah, somebody sprayed some weed killer and literally killed all our grass there.
It looks like he's treated the whole area there. So, I mean, we can do a couple things. All right, and basically, I guess I'm looking for a motion if you guys want to pay to get that other pin marked. And then that will kind of tell us, and we'll have some good information on where that sign is, and we can have some more informed information on it. So if you guys think we want to pay to get that pin marked out, I guess I'm looking for a motion.
The original pin was installed there,
We paid for one of the pin markings last year.
and just got run out of there or removed, or?
The pin is still there, but you need a second point for a reference. You can only guess where that property line is.
Right,
So
so
if
talking about that second point, Was that ever one that was surveyed?
No, I can kind of show you, Dean.
Not on that survey, at least.
No, it wasn't on that survey, no. So they didn't mark out our whole property on the survey. It would have been very expensive to do the whole property to separate us from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think it was, why should we mark out his property, right?
Well, we're doing it now.
Now do we mark out the whole property?
Not the whole property, but one more pin.
One more pin up there for the whole sign issue, so.
I first the motion.
Can I get a second motion to mark the pin?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now, I guess I'm looking for a volunteer to call one of our survey people. Can we pull up the information we surveyed before?
It was Proshell Land Surveying.
Rochelle?
You got a phone number I can call?
Yep, it's 320-629-3267. It's Tyler Proshell.
Can you give him that map and identify exactly what pin we want marked?
You got two of them
Yep.
there? Leave one.
I'll leave one with him. I
Do we
guess,
want to, oh, I'm sorry.
no, you go ahead.
Do we want to replace the sign?
Well, I think we should have some sort of informational sign up there. That sign, basically let everybody know that it's private roads, right?
Yep.
There's no lake access.
Yep.
And what else was on there?
No dumping and the speed limit.
The speed limit. Okay, so there's other speed limit signs, but I think we do need some sort of an informational sign up there.
So can I ask you, the sign that was there originally, the two green fence posts were there, correct?
That
You just
basically-
put Unistrut across them.
We just replaced the existing sign that was there. So we took the old sign down and put a more updated, because the other sign
So
was
we
there.
didn't change where the position of the sign was.
No, nothing was changed.
I didn't realize that.
No. It was exactly where the other sign was. I used exactly the same mounting. I just added a little bit of mounting to make our sign more secure on the existing posts that were there. So we just took the old sign down and updated it with the new sign.
That makes this ever more frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Now, there's a couple other things we could do. I could call the lawyer and actually have him draft a letter. That's probably the proper way to do it. And I could kind of put an email. I thought that might be one way that we could do it and put a little pressure on him, see if he still has the sign. I think we should replace the sign regardless.
All right, so I first the motion to replace the sign.
Do we need to verify that that's within that pin
Well,
first?
We'll wait to put it back.
I
So
will
we know where our
Right.
property is. Yeah,
Yes.
Well, are we assuming that he destroyed the sign then, and we're not gonna get it back before we spend another $500?
Well, that's exactly what I was gonna get at. I think if I've already called him and asked him for the sign. All right, he didn't respond to me. What's the next thing? We can knock on the door, but I think the proper way to do it is, why don't we have our lawyer draft up a letter?
Because it is a, Matt, am I correct, is it a felony offense due to the amount, the dollar amount?
So I looked it up, and some amounts over 250 can be considered felony, and some amounts over 1,000 can be a felony. So you'd have to look. I didn't look into it any further than that, but in the state of Minnesota, it can be 250, it can be over 1,000. And
We were at.
I would consider this a situation where we did our due diligence as a municipality to reach out to said private property owner to find out what this was. We didn't receive any response from this person. And obviously we're going out on a limb here and assuming that it was this person. So we don't want to make accusations because we don't know it was this person.
Right.
But regardless, if anybody out there knows or saw anybody out there and we can put a face to this action, then we can move on this. But other than trying to make a case that said property owner, threatened to remove the sign, and then now it's all of a sudden gone. If the police consider that an actual offense where they can search that property for the sign, that's our only leg to stand on, other than
The emails that were sent to Rich were also uploaded. I uploaded those as well to the evidence. You get when you get a case, you upload all the documents for the evidence to the county, and I included those emails to them.
Okay.
as well.
Okay. So if the police find that to be a a threatening, communication to us. Maybe they're willing to search the property for the sign, but we're probably not going to get it back. I wouldn't imagine we would get it back voluntarily whatsoever.
Well, I'm wondering if we can ask him to knock on the door and ask for it. Because he told us he was gonna take the sign, and the sign is here.
Right.
All right, so I mean, again, without him, verifying it, I asked the question, he's not responding. I guess I could shoot him an email, but I think it's good. I'd rather have the lawyer send him an email.
So this sign, I just looked up our cost. The total cost for all the signs in our neighborhood was $750. So the individual sign that said person removed was a total cost of $150.50. So it's actually not a felony offense. It's only $150 to replace it. I think we should just move ahead and do it.
I think we should too.
Because we're going to end up paying the lawyer $150 to do this rigmarole, and he knows this. That's fine. That's why whoever took it knows this.
So I have a motion from Matt to replace the sign. I need a second. If anyone wants to second.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor of replacing the sign?
Aye.
Okay, before we replace it, we will do our due diligence and we'll mark that second pin to make sure that it is for sure on Shorewood Park Sanitary District property.
And I'm happy to go knock on his door. I have no, bones to pick with him, and I don't have a problem with anything other than the fact that he said something to us, and all of a sudden the sign is gone, and
Feel free.
so.
I guess I'm gonna put that to rest with the sign at this particular point in time. I guess there's one other thing that we could possibly ask is, there's been equipment used to, update or do work on that property for development purposes. And the only way for them to access it at this particular point in time is for them to come on our private road. Now, I don't know if it's too much to ask that before they come on our private road, he needs to ask permission to let those vehicles come on our road.
Can't he access it through his access point? It just needs to be cleaned out, right?
So you're saying there's drilling equipment in there?
Well, no, but right now he's already brought in a farmer. All right, and then this farmer comes in, and they've been gaining access at our entrance, right? They take our roads that we pay for and maintain, right? And they bring that equipment in on their property.
No, I would agree 100%.
The next thing is going to be, they're going to bring tree trimmers in there. Where's everything going to mark, right? And the next thing is going to be big equipment. So I think we can do our due diligence and say, before anything's brought in, they need to ask permission. And any equipment that's coming in, we need to see a certificate of insurance. We have to make a decision to see if it's okay, before we let them come in. I don't have a problem if they follow the proper procedures,
But doesn't he have an access
No.
from the other side?
An access off highway to that property.
Yeah.
well, you'd have to clean it up.
Well, that's just it, why would, he shouldn't be allowed to come on our private.
No.
equipment.
I completely agree. I don't believe that he should have the right to use our roads for his development of his property.
So, okay.
I tell you what, I will in the meantime, I'll reach out to our lawyer and have him draft something as far as access into that property and let them know the way that the Shore Park Sanitary District.
Don't we have a thing too that if someone brings in any type of company to do business or equipment, that they have to put down $1,000
Yeah,
deposit
I think
for any resident?
that has been in the past, but it's been kind of overlooked. I think, I think we can kind of skirt it around it by any people that, if you're hiring somebody, we could go through that process, but then we'd have to ask that for everybody, and it's really hard to maintain, I think. But I think the best thing to do is, I'm hoping that most residents are hiring people with insurance and that they're bonded and
Well, I
insured.
just meant to reiterate that to the
Right.
property owners.
Right, and it was a rule that he put into place, so I think that basically, he should ask for permission, and then we would, you'd have to come to a board meeting and ask him, let us know what his plans are, unless he clears his own access point. So I think we just need to regulate what's going on up there just a little bit.
Is anybody privy to any type of project that's going on that property? Like any permits that have been filed for that property, or are we aware of anything?
No.
Okay.
All right, I think.
So, what am I putting in the minutes here as far as you're going to request legal counsel to draft a letter
Yep,
to the property owner?
about access into his property. All right, the last thing that just came up, the last day is, I don't know if you guys were following some of the emails I picked out yesterday and the day before. I received an email from the MPCA, and they're letting us know it's time for us we have to get our permit up to date. Okay? So, basically what had happened is an email came from the MPCA engineers to Tim Corby and to our past operator. And I was really frustrated with that email when it came across because we paid HR Green to update the MPCA with who the owner is and the new operator of the Shorewood Sanitary District. We did that when Jay was our temporary. We had to go through that process, and we paid HR Green to do that. And then when we brought Terry on, we let the MPCA know we had to do that same paperwork over again. So that was part of Terry's process when he became our operator. He spent a month of getting all the paperwork straight and bringing it up to date at that time. So I kind of let HR Green know I was frustrated. And then I also responded to the MPCA and said, please remove our past operator from any information that you have with who the owner is of the Shorewood Park Sanitary District. But with that being said, we do need to update our permit. It's been in limbo since 2015. We did have a meeting a year ago with the MPCA. It was a Teams meeting. I think a lot of the same people here were in that meeting. And that was basically the kickoff or the re-kickoff of the expansion at that point in time. We talked about the permit and the possibility of new regulations coming up with phosphorus. We talked about, do we need a pond or not? And can we get by with the expansion of those 23 homes without the pond? And correct me if I'm wrong, all three of those, the answer was no, we don't need a pond. We can treat our sewage with elm to bring our phosphorus down because they are going to start regulating that, and we don't need a pond for the expansion. So based on the email that came across, we have 60 days to let them know what our plan is, or they'll tell us what they want us to do. So I responded to Tim Corby and said that we probably should meet with Tim Corby, our engineer, Terry, our operator, and probably Chris Ziegler from MAP for assistance, and then put a plan together on how we're going to treat for phosphorus, because that's what they're asking for. We have to treat for phosphorus. So with those three things, of course, there's going to be costs to have the engineering company put that plan together, and then hopefully he can tell us, how much, or come up with an estimate of, what it's going to cost for that treatment, and then we can build that into our budget. So what I'm proposing here to take care of that issue is, I get some volunteers to meet with me and the MPCA, and we have a special meeting, and we form a committee to take care of this issue here and try to get it done the next 60 days. All right. So with that being said, Tina, I was hoping that you'd be there to take minutes.
Yep.
And then the three of us would be a quorum with those three people, and we'll treat it like as a special meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
So it would be Al, Dean, and yourself?
Yep. And then I will reach out to those people and set up that meeting. I guess maybe we should look for a motion to do I need a motion to create a special meeting, or? All right. I think that's how we'll approach it. So I think what's gonna happen with that, the expansion, it was on hold pending what we do with the expansion, but we can't put it on hold anymore. So I think what we're gonna do is, we have to get our working permit. If the expansion is pushed off another year or whatever, if we have to amend the new working permit for the expansion, we'll just have to pay the cost for that at that time. But we have to get a new permit and get it updated. That permit lasts for 5 years, is my understanding. So once you have one, it goes for 5 years. All right, that's my update. I think that takes care of all the business we have going on right now. All right, with that, I think we'll move on to financial update.
All right, so our current checking account balance as of today was $90,760.96. I did provide an updated budget to date of expenses. Just a few expenses that I've added in so far for the month of June, but everything for the month of May now has been noted in there. So you can reference that as well. And then, Dean, do you have a investment fund update?
As of the end of April, our value is $211,695.70. Of that, our cash value is $25,235.61. And I have submitted a request for address change, and I have received a confirmation from our investment company with that address, and supposedly, Tina, you will be getting one.
I did, yep.
Did you get it?
I did get it, yes.
Okay, so this was the end of April, so we haven't had a June one or end of May one because this is too early in the month. So I'm assuming you'll be getting one in our new mailbox in the next week.
Yeah.
How will you get the information from Tina? We can just wait till the next meetings for that?
That's what I'm assuming.
Okay.
She'll have that information.
All right, sounds good.
Bills for this month, I had East Central Energy as an automatic draft. That was $174.27. We did approve, after the last meeting, a website renewal. Matt did send an email out to the group about that, but that was $367.39, and that was for 3 years, correct, Matt?
Correct.
Okay. Rasmussen Services, I have a invoice from them for the amount of $1,630.60.
Tina, is that just for the pond mowing then?
No.
Okay.
And he said on here, I only charge for what I mowed. Sometimes the small park was mowed and the entrance was mowed. I didn't charge for these when they were mowed.
Perfect.
So,
I like the way he's approaching it.
yep. And so then we have LJJ of $1,700. We have a bill from League of Minnesota Cities for $1,839. That is due on the 24th. That's for our insurance renewal. And then I have Premier Asphalt, $27,625. And then just the reimbursement, which this is an automatic draft of, not an automatic draft, but each month we have the QuickBooks Online subscription of $45, which I get reimbursed for. So I will pass those down.
Can I get, is there any questions on the bills first?
The Premier Asphalt is divided up, right? So we pay 50% first before.
Well, we didn't pay any of it. So basically, all the work is done. They came in before we even gave them a down payment. That's typically what happens. That's the way we talked about it last month.
Okay.
We would approve I think we approved that 50% down. But in the meantime, in the month, he came and did all the work. All right,
Okay.
so he did reach out to me and ask me, when am I gonna get paid? And I shot him an email or a text and I said, we will approve your bill on the 4th. Now I'm just gonna ask Al, what I've seen, I think it's everything that we've asked for and what was on the bid, correct?
It is, yeah. He came back a second time and fixed the spot just as the manager left, and go either in front of Jamie's house there.
Yep.
There was a divot there and a couple more spots that they missed. I came back and took care of it.
And they also came back, and I think we talked about it, they came back and did class 5 along the edges of the new pours also. I don't know, Doug, what did you see on the lower circle down there? Did it look like there was some work down there too?
No, they did a good job.
All right, so I think that was based on what your quote was, and you're good with approving that 27?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Actually, I looked at the lower circle yesterday. Next year, there may be some work down in that area.
Some more work.
All right, so I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make the motion to approve the bills.
Can I get a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's the approval of the bills. Old business expansion. I kind of touched base on where we're at with the expansion on still trying to nail down our federal grant money. So it's still been pretty quiet. I'll let Dean update you on what the state came up with, which was opening for the remainder of 500,000 based on our budget.
Of course, the state of Minnesota dropped the ball and did not have a bonding bill. So that's where we would have had the money allocated from. And the bonding bills are 2 years, so I'm assuming there won't be another one for 2 more years. And unless there's a special session call, I don't see there be any money from the state.
Okay, so I think we're probably gonna have to reboot and have some more conversations with the expansion. But let's get through this federal, secure that federal
Right.
money. I think the other thing that happened with the expansion, and Chris is working with that from MAP, was working with Kathy Barrett on possible financing for that $500.
Right, I think we had an approval of getting a loan from Kathy Barrett. So that I think is okay to,
Probably move
so we'll
forward.
have money to pay the bills as they come in to begin with, so.
All right.
What year did we start that?
2019, 2020. So it's been hanging on now, well, we're going into the 4th year, and I mean, HR Green said sometimes it takes anywhere up to 6 to 10 years depending. We can't take a while.
Dean, did you send down, okay, thank you.
So that's old business on the expansion. New business. I think we talked about it, we kind of listed the park signage, I think we have a plan put in place for the signage. We're gonna go ahead and get another mark of our property up there. Gonna replace the sign, decide where if we're gonna reinstall the sign in the same place or move it a little bit. And then I will have the lawyer draft up a letter to see if we can get a little leverage, at least get a response out of the property owner if they did take the sign or not. I talked about other new business would have been the reissuance of our NPCA permit, and we have a plan put together for that. Just to recap, we're going to have a special meeting with all the players, the 3 volunteers, develop a quorum, and Tina will come along for record keeping, but we'll get engineering, MAP, map, and we will get Terry, and we'll come up with a plan on how we are going to work with taking care of the phosphorus and a plan to put our permit together. New business playground equipment. Doug Lohmeyer has volunteered to see what kind of maintenance we need on there. And then, if we need parts, I'll give him the information on who he can reach out on that. We do have a credit card. If we have to buy something, you'll just contact me or Tina, and we'll probably order it up based on what we need. And I think that's it on it. The new business that I know of.
I have one additional item. I failed to mention that we have to also renew our URL, or our website address
Okay.
privilege. And that is roughly $25 a year. For 1 year it's 25, 2 years it's 45, perhaps for 3 years it'll be, a little less than 20 or so. But we also need to do that. So I figured since we just renewed for 3 years for the hosting, that we would also do 3 years for the URL as well.
Makes sense to me. Can I get a motion to update that URL?
First motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any other new business?
I have one thing, hold on one second. I just want to finish my train of thought here. Okay, so 2 updates, online billing and bill pay is available. So everybody that got their bill this month, did you get your bill, Matt? Did you
I
get a
did.
text message? Okay.
I did.
We are receiving, people who already made their payments online, so it's working, it's up and functioning, and
That's a good idea. Good.
so far so good. So I will include that, which the next thing that brings me to the next part of our newsletter. I'd like to get it out here this month. Is there anything that Sue had shared about the 4th of July parade that she wants me to add that into that? I will update, put some reminders in about the parks and the park equipment. Is there anything else that you would like me to add to it, any of the board members? I will put in about roads that we did the repairs, so,
Okay, I don't have a problem with you mentioning what happened with the sign up there either.
okay,
Just kind of that, we missed the sign and what our actions are gonna be with that sign.
okay,
I think everybody should understand what's going on.
okay.
And it's important to keep an eye on your property and keep an eye out, and make sure that we're looking out for one another, and that's how we keep our neighborhood safe and on the up and up.
The one thing I was gonna add about with mowing was just to make sure that people are remembering to keep things out of the park area so that people can mow and
And if,
keep that clear. And if it's not moved, that they're gonna have to
clean up after.
clean up after them.
Right,
So,
I think
yeah.
people are getting the hint, things are starting to move around, that
Yeah.
been put there, and yeah, if you do have something stored there for short term, which is fine, we allow that, just keep it cleaned up. If we're cleaning up the park, keep that clean the best you can, I think is probably a good reminder. I do appreciate Dean for, if something is mowed, he's not mowing again and charging for it, so that's a great vendor that we're working with, he's been taking care of us for a lot of years, so that's great. Because some people do go ahead and mow if he's not keeping up, but after the first mow, it looked like it needed some more, but after the second time, it looked great, it was a real nice job, so I think between the community and everybody, they're keeping the parks up, so that's all we can ask for. But I think, yeah, that should go in the newsletter also.
I was approached by one of my neighbors about the firework display, and how Flickerbirds is more or less kind of responsible for the funding of that every year from now on. Apparently that's a change that happened last year. Is anybody familiar with what happened with the fireworks or what's going on with that?
Well, their sign on there says thank you for
Donations?
donations, and RLIA is on there, and I think snowbugs and.
Do we want to make a donation to that?
I think it'd be very nice.
Yes.
Well, to get our name out there a little bit more and that we're working with the community, I even thought, is there something we can do with Nesso Township? You know, RILA, I think is a great one to really start getting kind of melded with, because that's a good working group, a lot of us belong to that too, so. I guess, do we have time to ask the question of all the residents, or do we just approve a small part of it, or, I mean, it's totally up to you guys, I'm okay with it.
Throw a survey out there.
We could throw a survey out there.
And ask,
What bucket would we pull that out of?
Let me look at our budget. So we could pull it out, well, we have $500 in our parks and maintenance, which I don't know if that's what you want to pull it out of or not.
Well, not since we're gonna have to fix some of the slides and stuff, so.
Media website, we don't have like a marketing, any kind of a marketing budget per se.
That's something we should probably make note of. To try to create some sort of a marketing budget.
So I'm just looking down the line here to see if there's anything that we could move it into, and there's not. There's not currently.
Yeah, your closest would be media website, but that's,
I mean, do we wanna pick an amount and do a survey and say, hey, we were thinking about doing a $250 or whatever donation for the fireworks?
yeah, our community all enjoys it, I believe,
Yeah, well, I know.
or has the opportunity to.
Yeah, right. So what do you think the best way to approach it is? Joe, you mentioned maybe a survey
On the website.
On the
on the
website.
website and see if we can get some yays and nays. Please submit on a submission, put it on the website.
And I could put it in the newsletter that there's a, that there's a survey online. Can we
Yeah.
do that, Matt?
Yeah, I'll create a,
Survey Monkey or something?
actually through Google,
Okay.
through our Drive or whatever, we can create a form, which is
Okay.
a survey.
Do they need that? I think they're doing it on the 3rd, right?
The
Right.
newsletter.
So we probably want to give them some sort of a donation a couple weeks before.
Yeah,
Does somebody want to reach out to Nick or,
we can reach out to them.
and see what kind of parameters there are? And then maybe can we put a motion based on the response of the Survey Monkey if it's, positive? Why don't we let's just start with $250 this year. I think anything's going to help. It's not that large, and it's not digging too deep into our budget.
So who's making the motion?
I brought it up all first motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And it's up to $250.
Up to $250. And we'll call that a marketing type thing, and, hopefully next year, if we continue to do it, we can get our name on their sign too.
When does this newsletter go out?
I'm hoping to have it out next week, is what I'm hoping to.
Go ahead.
If you're talking about marketing and then you get the newsletter and stuff like that, I think you guys, last year was kind of the first year you guys had an organized neighborhood
Night out?
Night out.
night out. And then, was that in August?
Mhm.
So I don't know if you want to start.
Maybe we mentioned something on that?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up also.
Okay.
Should we get a jump house?
That would be so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Do we want to have set up a little committee to see what we want to do?
I think that'd be the best way to approach it. Is that something you want to head up?
Sure.
And it doesn't necessarily need to be a lot of board members, but I think we have time to, if you want to start talking about it and bring some information. If you want to mention something on the newsletter, it's for people who want to get involved with it, contact Sue and help her put together a party. But I think we should follow through with it with marketing. I think it went great last year. Even instead of us bringing ice cream, I don't know, maybe bring that ice cream truck in, like that food truck type thing, or.
There's Scoops that does that.
How does that work?
You would just, well, if we're paying, which I don't think we're gonna pay for it, but you could have Scoops come in and either like set a dollar amount and say that they do so much.
Yep.
Or you could have people pay on their own too,
Yeah.
which is have it there. But, you could set up cornhole boards or,
Sounds good. Let's mention something about it, and then Sue can put something together, but I think it was a big hit last year.
What date is that? We'll find out.
August
I could
6th.
look. What is it?
Online, it just says National Night Out, which I don't think you can call it that if we're not part of that, but
Yeah.
it's Tuesday, August 6th.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sue, will you get a handle on that? Will you send me all the details so I can put something on the website?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, good ideas. Anything else?
Anything on the dredging?
Pardon me?
Is that-
Anything on the dredging?
Oh, we're still waiting for the dredger to show the DNR the process. At the last meeting with the DNR in, March, I believe it was, the dredger, Tony, said to DNR that he had a couple jobs, possible jobs, and Craig from DNR said he would go there and observe it. The one job fell through, the person backed out. And Tony, I asked him about that, and he's going to alert me when the next one is coming. And just in discussion with people involved in that, we want to maybe look at other options of getting that process observed. So right now it's still stagnant, let's say.
In process, and whole,
Yeah.
working plan.
Yeah.
And that was an update on the dredge.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, one more time, anything else? Now we're sitting here thinking, going once, going twice. Don, can I get a motion to close the meeting?
I make a motion to close the meeting.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.